Hello there, my name is Michelle and I'm a personal trainer and yoga teacher in the Boston area. In this video, I'm going to share with you a short workout to help you release tension in the neck and shoulders. Also, give you a little bit more deeper awareness of how the upper back and shoulders need to work so that you're not continuing to create tension, especially as you start to build strength and muscle. So we're going to go ahead and get started in just a moment. You're not going to need anything for this practice, no fancy props or equipment, just a nice clear space, a yoga mat if you've got one, and your body. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get right onto our mat and get onto our back. We're going to go ahead as you start on your back, just starting in this bridge position here. So feet are hip width apart, stacking your knees directly over your heels. And then bringing your arms right by your sides with the palms facing down to the ground. Now press the tips of the shoulders down into the floor. On an inhale, you're going to lift your hips up and find your bridge. As we build our bridge, making sure those knees are right over, stacking right over the heels. Oftentimes the knees can pop out, so I want you to really think of hugging those knees right in over your heels. And then as you press down through your heels, start to lift all 10 toes up off the ground. And as you lift the toes, I want you to press the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound just behind those toes right down into the floor. So you start to feel that tripod effect through the feet. Right, as you do this, you might notice you can feel the back of the legs lighting up. You want to feel the hamstrings and the glutes starting to squeeze and the back hugging in. Press down through your shoulders and feel the broadening across the upper shoulders. Feel that activation of your back. And as we get ready to lower down, I want you to take it nice and slow, lowering your upper back, your middle back, your low back, and then your tailbone all the way down to the floor. Great, we're going to go ahead now and come to our right side. So as you come to your right side, go ahead and coming into this fetal position, stacking your hips. You want to have your heels in line with your tail. And then your shoulders are stacking with your palms right on top of one another. Now, if you have lots of tension in your neck and shoulders, this might feel really uncomfortable. So you can always create a little lift if you like with just a simple towel or pillow, but don't make it too high. You might find that at first it can be a little bit tense, but as you lay here, you start to release that tension. And then with that left hand that's on top of your right, you're going to slide it forward just a little bit so you feel those fingers kind of going just beyond the lower hand. And you'll feel that opening of that left shoulder blade. Keep your hips stacked, so try not to let your hips, your body follow, but really keep those hips hugging right on top of one another. All right, now we're going to start to find a little movement. You're going to slide the hand toward your face like you're drawing back on a bow. You're going to sweep the arm up and around, opening the chest. Let your gaze follow your hand back behind you, and then slowly coming back by your side. And then eventually the hands come back again. We begin sliding the hand back in, toward your face, up, arcing around your head, back behind you. Try to keep those hips stacking. There's a little bit of a twist here. Try to let the head stay heavy. Continue a few more times. As you get the hang of it, just feeling what's going on in your body. Again, the head stays heavy towards the floor. Get that nice circle of the arms around. Moving it back around one more time. And as you come back this time, we're going to stay reaching your arm back behind you, opening up your chest. So if you're really tight here, you might bend that left elbow just so you can release a little tension. Maybe let your gaze go over towards the left. Try to find a sense of ease here. We're releasing the tension in the neck and shoulders in this first part. And then we'll slowly bring the hand back over to touch. And then you're going to roll onto your back. Getting set up again for bridge pose. Heels right underneath your knees. Arms by your sides. Pressing down. We'll go ahead. We're going to lift the hips up, pressing down through the heels. Again, lifting the toes, pressing down through the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound. Really thinking of hugging and sucking the back of the legs up into the bone. Keeping those knees centered. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to reach your arms up towards the sky. So the arms are right over the shoulders. And very slowly we're going to lower the upper back, lower the mid back. And as you lower the back, you're going to start to reach the arms towards the back of the room. Slowly lowering all the way down, vertebrae by vertebrae, till your tailbone comes down. You can feel your fingertips are reaching away and your tail lengthens long. Take a moment to ground, and then when you're ready to come up, you're going to slowly lift the hips, lifting that low back, the mid back, the upper back, and you can reach the arms straight back up again. Press down through the heels, hug and lift those legs up, squeezing the glutes, and now we'll lower down, lowering your upper back, lowering your mid back, and lowering your low back as you reach those arms back. So we're starting to synchronize the arms and the legs. When you're ready to inhale, you're going to slowly lift the hips. As you lift the arms, just reaching those arms straight up overhead. And again, slowly lowering down. Just pausing for a moment at the top. There's no rushing here with this work. Just taking some time to slow down and listen to our body. Let's do that one more time. Slowly roll the spine up, reach the arms up, pause the top, press down, lift the toes, and then slowly release. Nice work. Once you come all the way down, we get ready for the second side. We're going to do roll to the left side. For sake of the video, I'm going to just roll over so I can face you. So as you come onto your left side, finding that fetal position again, just as we did before, making sure your heels are in line with your tail, your hips are stacked, your knees are stacked, your shoulders are stacked as you reach your arm forward. Now this side can feel different. Take a moment to let the head be heavy. You might even rock the head a little side to side. Again, filling any gap if needed. And then creating that little bit of traction as you reach your right fingertips beyond your left fingertips. You slide the top hand forward just a little bit. Try to keep the hips stacked. Don't let the hips follow. And then we begin pulling back. We're drawing back on the bow. We sweep the arm overhead and then reach your arm behind you. And then slowly circling the arm. And as you do this, you want to feel the arm just moving naturally within its shoulder socket. It returns and then it comes back up and around. Big inhale as you reach your arm back. Let your gaze follow your hand. Circles down along by the side and back again. Great. 2 more times. Just following your breath. Big inhale. As you exhale, you start to close yourself back up here again, bringing the hands to stack. 1 more time, nice and slow, no rush. This next one, we're going to open up. We're going to stay open just to connect with a few breaths. And everybody feels things in different places. Oftentimes, we feel tight in our pectoral muscles here as we open up. And again, you can bend that right elbow. Try to let your head be heavy. Try not to hold on to the neck or the shoulders. Those knees stacking, those hips stacking. You'll feel a little bit more of that twist and that opening in the torso here. Okay, let's take just one more breath in. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Slowly circle your arm all the way back. Stacking your shoulders, stacking your hips. and then rolling onto your back. All right, we're going to set ourselves up for a dead bug. If you work with me a lot, this is one of my favorite core exercises because it works the core and the whole body entirely, right? So we're not just working the front of the abdominal muscles like when we do a crunch, right? We're working the front, the sides, the back. So this is known as a transverse abdominis. It's kind of like a corset, but it's even more than just a corset. It wraps through the pelvic floor, it connects up through that diaphragm, and really helps us to truly connect to that full core center, which is connected to the limbs, right? And we create more structure. So when we start dead bug, the arms are right overhead and your palms face towards one another, kind of like you're holding onto a yoga block. And then I want you to lift your knees up over your hips. All right, take a moment to flex the ankle and spread the toes. This is going to help to create more activity in the legs. All right, try to get those knees right over your hips. And as you do this, you might feel your back arch up off the floor. Really hug your pubic bone to your navel and pull the navel down towards the floor. At the same time, I don't want your tail to pop up off the ground. Can you reach the tail down? So you feel the sense of your low back contacting the floor, a nice natural curvature of the spine, and then feel the shoulders pressing down towards the floor. So now we're going to reach opposite limbs away from one another. Can you extend your right leg forward at about a 45-degree angle as you reach your left arm back? Try to keep your right hand and your left knee just as they were, and now we'll bring it back to the beginning. Right back to that start. Hug your belly in. Second side, we move slow here. A left leg, right arm reaches away. Pause, hold, and then bring it back in. Pause, hold, activate, moving it again. So no rushing here. Right? Sometimes we can speed this up, and that can be another way to do it. But for this practice, I want it to be more about awareness and how your body moves. Right? Continue nice and slow and bring that awareness to notice if your hips or your shoulders are twisting or your back is popping up off the way from the floor. All right, and try to see if you can create that centered grounding through the hips, grounding through the shoulders. Nice and slow. You start to feel tired here. So just that first round. Last one. Whew. We finished the left leg and the right arms were nice and even. And then you can place your hands and your feet on the floor. A preparation for bridge pose. New version of bridge, we're going to bend the elbows, pressing the elbows down to the floor. Palms face in towards one another. Again, like you're holding this block here. And now we're going to lift the hips up into bridge. So as you lift the hips, it's like you slide your hips right between your hands. Find the tripod through the feet, lift the toes, hug the knees right and over the heels. And now we're just going to lift the right foot up and then press the right foot down. It doesn't have to come high, right? First time is always a little tricky. Left leg. So think of this as a very slow march, right? We want to, again, feel our hips are not twisting. We're not rocking. And you'll feel it wants to happen, but you have to fight that urge and try to keep those hips nice and stable. And really press down through the elbows. Press down through the shoulders. Whew. Last one, we finish with that left leg. Try to keep those hips centered, squared, and then lower both hips down to the floor. All right, run one more round of that bridge pose. Can you reach both arms up, knees up, feet up, belly in tight. So lock that core, hug those ribs in and down as you lift the hips up towards the ribs. But don't curl the tailbone up off the ground. We don't want to flat back. We don't want to tuck the tail, right? It's almost that, but not quite. All right, ready? We're going to move right leg, left arm, reach, hover, hold, bring it back in slow. Don't use that momentum. Connect the body and the mind. It takes some coordination as you start to move. Try not to let the arm and the leg move, right? Or just focusing on those opposite limbs, reaching, extending, and then coming back in. right? You can always make the movement smaller if you're finding that you're feeling your hip flexors catch. That's very common. So again, we want to feel that low belly hugging in, pulling that pubic bone to your navel, and then that navel hugs up and in towards the spine. Great. One more to each side. We want to finish with that left leg and right arm. Again, no rushing here. I'm moving slow, so you take it slow. The slower the better. And then we release. All right, arms right back by your sides. Bend the elbows. Palms face in. We're going to lift into that bridge. Hug your glutes. One more round of that marching bridge. Lifting the right knee, bringing that maybe that right knee a little closer towards your chest. Again, the movement is only as big as you can keep that control of the hip. So making the movement smaller, even if it's just a teeny tiny lift, that's fine. I always say little movements, big results. Great, let's finish it up. Last one, left leg. And place your foot to the floor. Place your hips down towards the ground. Nice work. So now we're going to go ahead and roll on over. We're going to come onto those hands and knees. And just take a moment to line your shoulders up over your wrist and spread your fingers nice and wide. Exhale, round your spine towards a cat shape, tucking your tail, tucking your chin. I want you to bring your awareness to the upper back and shoulder blades here. This is where we're working, spreading the shoulder blades nice and wide. Now come into that sway back cow. Really imagining that bony cow. You know how you see them with that sway back and then the shoulder blades dip in towards one another. And I kind of sag in the upper back and upper body. All right, now we'll exhale around. So really just feeling that movement, particularly between the shoulder blades. Squeezing those shoulder blades in, and then exhaling, rounding and pushing those shoulder blades apart. Now let's lower down to our elbows. Make sure the elbows are directly under the shoulders. You can press the palms down towards the ground. The hips are over the knees, and hug your core in nice and tight so that your belly is hugging in. There's that core awareness. And now we're going to focus again just in the upper back and shoulders. So just like cat and cow, but just in the upper back and shoulders, you're going to drop your chest down like you're dropping your sternum to the floor and then dropping the shoulder blades in towards one another. Now you're going to press to your elbows and start to round the upper back and shoulder blades like a cat, and then coming into that cow. Do that a few more times. It really is a small movement here, but you can feel the work and the heat that generates just right around the shoulders. Try to make sure you're not dropping your head. Your gaze is at your thumbs, so the back of the neck and shoulders are long. Right? If it feels like there's tension here when just holding your head up, you want to explore things a little bit differently. Last one. And then we're going to go ahead, we're going to find a child's pose as you reach your hips back, release your forehead to the ground. Letting your elbows stay bent, can you turn your palms up? As you turn your palms up, try to think of spreading your fingers out and trying to reach those thumbs out. Maybe even getting those thumbs towards the floor, which is basically impossible for me, but I can really feel the back of the shoulder blades, the neck releasing. Just let the head fall heavy. Taking a deep breath in, slow breath out. All right, nice work. Now we're going to come back on up. We're going to come into Sphinx. So coming onto your belly, you want to point your toes to the back of the room, to the tops of the feet. I always say where the shoelaces are pressing down to the floor. You don't want those feet to sickle out or in, but really get those heels centered. right? And then activate your legs by lifting your kneecaps up away from the ground, squeezing your glutes, right? Press down through the elbows, which should be centered right under your shoulders. Press down through your palms and then lift along through the neck, broaden the collarbone, and start to lift the belly button away from the floor. Right? See if you can lift your ribs, your belly button away from the floor. And now you start to create more of an isometric hold and hugging of the muscles into the bone. Right? Hold it here. Now we'll curl the toes under, right? We're gonna push up, lift up into a plank position. Trying to get those shoulders, hips, and heels in line. Right? Try to get those feet active so the heels are directly over the ball of the foot. Push the floor away, hug the belly in again, creating that tension in the body, meaning to squeeze the leg muscles, lift and squeeze the belly muscles up, press the elbows down, find a little bit of that cat in the upper back. So you're pressing down through the elbows and spreading the shoulder blades wide. Whew, feel that work. Feet are hip width apart. Now we're going to explore a little challenge here. Let the heels go over to the left as you reach your right arm up. Option to lower the left knee down. Right? Keep pressing through the arm. You can even spin the arm to the side if that helps for balance. And really think of lifting the waistline nice and high. Ooh, feel that side body work. Press the elbow down. We're going to get ready to go to the second side. So coming back to that plank. Hold it for a moment. No rushing. And then as you go to the second side, just let the heels fall to the right. Reaching the left arm up. Again, option to lower the right knee down to the ground if you need to. And again, we're pushing through the elbow, lifting the right waistline nice and high as you reach the left fingertips up and just holding it here. Isometric squeeze is all you need to really start to create that strength and awareness, activating those muscles. All right, let's come back into our plank. Hold it. And then release it. You can lower the knees down. Find that child's pose again with the elbows down, flipping the palms up, forehead between the arms. Oh, take a nice deep breath here. This feels so good. I can feel the shoulders, upper back and shoulders starting to activate, starting to build that strength. All right, we're going to do that one more round. So first starting in the Sphinx position, activate those muscles. You know what to do now. Press down through the tops of the feet. Suck the kneecaps up away from the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Start to create that length up through the crown of the head as you push down through the elbows, right? So you're pushing down to lift the navel away from the floor, the ribs away from the floor. Hugging that low belly up and in. Feel the whole body activate. Ice muscle isolation, hugging into the bone. Now curl the toes under. Keep that hugging, keep that effort as you lift. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side plank, heels to the left, right arm reaches up. Again, option to lower the knee. This time I'm going to keep my knee lifted. I'm going to push the floor away, reach that right arm up, lift the waistline. All right, second side, elbow under shoulder, push the floor away, let the heels go to the left, reach, or to the right, reach the left arm up, lift that waistline nice and high, and push, hold, slowly come to that plank, hold on, stay with it, and then release the knees. Child's pose, release those hips back, release the forehead down to the ground. Taking a nice deep breath here across the upper back, neck and shoulders. And just really feel that you really release that tension there. You release that tension in the back. Let's go ahead. You can push up and sit up for a moment. That concludes our practice, our short practice. Like I said, it's about releasing the neck and shoulders, getting into that deep active muscle into the upper back and shoulders so that you're doing it right, because planks are so effective, not just for building strength in the upper body, but really building strength in our whole body. It helps our core muscles, it helps our leg muscles, and our butt muscles. We really want to be squeezing those too to help get that whole body working together. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment down below. I love to hear your feedback. I hope this helps to improve your practice and help you to overall feel better through the neck and shoulders. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me.